Hello and welcome to Draco Ray Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about the Season 5 best settings that I'm running in Warzone so you can get the most FPS, stable, non-stutter gameplay you possibly can. As usual, no BS, no fluff. Here we go. Alright, here we are inside Warzone. We got the Battle of Verdansk and all that good stuff going on right now. The new exciting anti-cheat, as well as a new map. This was great. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. The Battle of Verdansk. The Battle of Verdansk. It was really fun. Squad fill required. FYI. Fine print. So let's get into the settings. I'm running, so first of all, if you're not using NVIDIA filters, you should be. They will really help out the game. Add color, sharpen, details, brightness, and contrast, and tweak them around. Highly recommend it. After you get the game kind of looking good on the main menu with your colors and everything like that, jump into options. We're going to go into general. I run a 120 field of view, but a lot of professionals run 100 or 103. 103 to 100 to 110. I like the 120. I got a nice curved kind of wide big monitor, so the 120 works for me. So I'm running a 120. Make sure you run it you know, in full screen or full screen borderless. If you're looking for frames, you don't want to, you're going to get less frames when you run a higher field of view. You're also going to get less frames possibly when you run full screen borderless. I'm rocking enough that it doesn't affect me too bad, so I get to kind of do that. So I've got a lot of other just generic settings like skip introduction movie and subtitles displayed. My mini-map shape is square, which helps a lot with view, if you don't know that, and different things like that. But let's get into the graphics. So I'm running full screen borderless on my X34 Predator. I've got an RTX 3070. I'm rocking a 120 refresh rate. I'm in 1920 by 1080, and this is locked because I'm in full screen borderless. If you want to unlock these and set them, you need to go to full screen. And then you also can do a render resolution. So sometimes I actually render that up to 1440p and it looks actually really good. You will see a little bit of a frame drop, but not much. And you will see more frames in Rebirth than you will in Verdansk, so keep that in mind as well. Aspect ratio automatic, sync every frame disabled. We don't need to sync every frame or use VSync. Most systems these days are rocking enough frames that you don't need to sync those frames to prevent tearing because you're generating so many frames. This honestly was like an old school thing to smooth out games with, you know, when you had low FPS back in the day. And I'm not really sure why it's still around, but it's something that I usually disable and all gamers disable now. I'm rocking a custom frame limit. Looks like the update changed it back to 240. I usually run it around 130, honestly, because my monitor can only do that. So I usually do 10 frames above my max. So we're going to do that. NVIDIA highlights I have disabled. NVIDIA Reflex low latency. So I have enabled plus boost. It actually made a slight difference. Warzone is a highly unoptimized game, but the NVIDIA did, you know, it actually worked a little bit to provide low latency mode, you know, because it says GPU clock frequencies are kept in high CPU bound cases, and Warzone uses a lot of CPU. So this is actually important and may help you out. If you're having any shader issues, you can restart them here. My gamma's default. Stream quality, I didn't notice a big difference between these two settings, so I just run it on low. If it's not generating performance for me, I run it on low to save resources. Just, that's kind of my logic behind it. Texture resolution, I recommend normal or high. I run normal. Filter antiscopic is low. Particle quality is low. Bullet impacts and sprays is disabled, but that's up to you. You can leave this enabled. It won't affect it too much. Tessellation disabled. On-demand texture streaming, I don't use. I didn't see a performance difference, honestly, for me. Shadow map resolution, at a minimum, I go normal. Sometimes I go high, especially in Verdansk for sniping. I don't like jagged shadows when I'm trying to snipe somebody, and this really cleans up the shadows when you're trying to snipe through trees and things like that. Caching spot shadows disabled. I've noticed I've done this with it on and off. It doesn't make a difference in Season 5 at all. Particle lighting's low. Ray tracing, ambient occlusion, SSR, all the fancy smanchy stuff you don't really need that, you know, take away frames, I disable. DLSS, you can try it, but I didn't like it so much because I'm not running in, like, you know, 2K, 4K, 8K. So that can help when you're running in high res, but we're trying to get frames here and kind of running 1080p, 2K at the most, 1440p. Anti-aliasing, I left at 1x just to smooth it out a little bit. I didn't notice too much of a performance hit. Depth of field, world motion blur, weapon motion blur, film grain, all of it turned off. Dynamic resolution. Now, if you're struggling to get frames badly, I recommend enabling this. It'll dynamically change your resolution, so you can actually put a target frame rate that you're trying to stick around, and it'll dynamically adjust the resolution as you play to try to maintain that frame rate. Now, it does mess with clarity constantly, so I don't like it because of the sniping and for Verdansk being a huge map, but you can use it to help you get a smoother gameplay experience. It may, depending on your specs, help you out. So this is my graphic settings that I'm running. I'm going to apply the 130. So I also run an audio mix of boost high. I turn off all the music, the dialogue I leave, effects is 100, and then pretty much everything else is whatever. But I do run a different equalizer setting on my headset for my Corsair. I run Clear Chat or FPS Competition. So yeah, but audio mix, I do a boost high. You're able to hear the footsteps a lot better. And if there's anything in general, I don't think so. I think other than that, the other thing is just performance things. I have the performance items turned on, like FPS server latency, packet loss, GPU temperature. Those are really helpful while you're playing. And other than that, that's it. I get a really smooth gameplay experience just sitting here in the menu. I'm about 130, so it's targeting right where I want it. I get about anywhere from 100 to 150 when I'm playing Verdansk and Rebirth. So hopefully this video helped you guys out, get those frames in Season 5. And remember, if you're having issues, check out my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Draco, and I'll see you next time.